current misconceptions out there in the media in regard to what's going on between Warriors of Radness and American Apparel?
Fuck, we gotta start yelling. Let me turn my phone off. Okay.
Any misconceptions out there about what has happened recently, business-wise, between Warriors of Radness and American Apparel?
Well, the only thing that is a little misconstrued is that they bought the brand outright, but we wanted to make a play, like we sold out, kind of ironically, to a huge company.
So that's
How would you say it, Doug?
But American Apparel isn't really a kind of company that's running around and buying brands. This is a collaboration, really, between two garment makers, Rick and myself, along with the thousands of American Apparel employees that help make the garments and distribute the garments and so forth and so on. This is about merging two people together in order that we can make money on a go-forward basis. Okay, so if people thought it was like we didn't pay Rick $150 million for war, but he wasn't asking for it either. What we're trying to do here is collaborate together to make to really take war to the next level, because it's a special brand, and what we're doing, we're complete. This is completely a separate endeavor to what American Apparel is.
Of all of the brand partners out there to do something like this with, why war?
I think that what Rick set out to do with war was make a made in USA clothing, surf brand, and we're one of the better made in USA makers of clothes here in LA. We make LA clothing. We make 45 million. We make 45 million garments per year. If not, that number is going to be increasing. So because we're a practiced garment maker, also Rick's a practiced garment maker. He's been making garments for over 2 decades. But this is the right place for us to collaborate. But there's also a very long friendship that, first my relationship began with Rick. I was selling him T-shirts when he was running Fresh Jive. Then we became very close friends. We lived together. Okay, I lived in his house. He helped me kind of get a footing in Los Angeles. So there's a lot of history, and we share something that we like. We like to make quality product. Making things together is all about suffering through the métier of making clothing.
So Rick, next question is for you. How does this affect your overall vision for war? I mean, obviously, now that you're going to have more resources and the ability to do things that you might not have been able to do on your own.
Oh yeah, obviously all the resources here at American Apparel. And one thing I like to say is that I've become a very small thinker, and coming over here and working with Dov is a very, very big thinker, and he's had a lot of influence on me thinking bigger and seeing what's possible out there.
Is this going to affect the creative direction of war at all?
No,
I think it just giving Rick war the steroids. It needs to be the brand that it wants to be. If there's any creative influence, if there's any creative contribution, I think Rick also is a very good influence within the organization because he's a great thinker. I think he can make a little bit of taste contribution to American Apparel. Just the presence of making some of these garments who will affect the mind. It's good company for American Apparel. What it is for war is the juice and the kind of the production momentum that's needed. But it's not just about production; it's about distribution. We're shipping into 20 countries every week, and sometimes every day. We ship to Japan 5-6 days a week. We ship into Heathrow Airport 7 days a week, into Frankfurt 7 days a week. So he's going to be able to kind of, in a positive way, take advantage of all this infrastructure. But nothing's going to affect it. We're not pressuring him to sell more. He doesn't have any sales targets to meet. It's very important that the integrity of the distribution, the integrity of the brand, and the integrity of the product is maintained or enhanced to his liking.
Yeah, it's more like creatively thinking how to expand the brand.
So aside from being old buddies and fellow garment manufacturers, is there do you feel that the Warriors of Radness brand fits nicely into the positioning of American Apparel? Does it help kind of bolster its image in a sense, or
Well, they're very similar brands of following respect. They're both they're both committed to a made in USA construction and thinking. You know, when you make clothing in the U.S., it's not about the Baroque. It's about the fits. It's about the simplicity of production. You know, it's kind of one of the great made in USA makers is Levi's. You know, the Levi's 501. It's about the rugged spirit of the manufacturing. You know, it's about the touch and feel. So yeah, I feel that draws us together, and we don't like gaudy stuff. We don't like false tribalism relating to a brand. Oh, it's this brand. Oh, it's that brand. No, it's for War, it's about the design integrity, the quality. Like, even if you didn't know it was War, you'd say, great pant, great shirt, great print. That's what it's about.
Ooh la la.
Right.
But another thing I have to add is War was actually influenced in some ways by American Apparel. Years ago when I started it, is when Dov used to talk to me about making in America, and I had a label previously called Fresh Jive, and that was already knee-deep in producing overseas, and it was very difficult to bring it over here. So it was kind of a chance for me to do something connected to manufacturing here in Los Angeles. So it was directly influenced by American Apparel, even from the start.
But also Fresh Jive, but particularly Rick Klotz and his operation on Olive Street was an inspiration to me, because Rick was a little bit older when 3-4 years mattered when we were younger. You know what I mean? So he was a little bit ahead of me in terms of in his maturity as a garment maker, and he was lucky enough. His father was in the business. So, he was a wise man, knew how to sew things, knew, oh, this is that fabric or this is that. So I think also, you had a big influence on American Apparel, to, helping me get out, set up over here, giving me a place to stay. I will say that he did charge me $200 rent in his apartment, and his mother did raise the rent to $250. That wasn't very nice of her. Okay, but I slept on his carpet. I slept in his place. We drove to work together.
Shit, I'm just finding this out. I thought I would let him stay for free.
What are you talking about?
I didn't give you that much of a favor. No?
Yeah. Anyway, so it was an honor to be involved in the whole energy and taking me around. We went to I went out more then than I do now, but he introduced me to the town and to the whole. And he was buying garments for me, and some of his friendly competitors were buying garments for me. And it was, in the beginning, I was selling from South Carolina, but eventually there was so much energy over here. I thought, why am I doing this in South Carolina? I could do this over here in LA. And I actually moved it was in July of '97. Remember, we walked up to the top of the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
It was that day, and I was on top of the when from the back of the Hollywood Bowl we hiked up there together, and we were a little wet on our butt. It was just a nice sweat, and I looked and I said, yeah, maybe I'll move out here. That was the weekend I came out, and I never went home. So it's like a summer. It's been a California summer, California hotel, Hotel California since July till now, July '97. So I wouldn't have come out without Rick. There were probably not. There was also. The Chip and Pepper, there was a few brands that different friends out here,
right.
that were hauling me out to the. And it was I felt, but it was Rick that really inspired me. His commitment to detail and design, and it's an influence that remains with me today until today. Remains with this company. His commitment to photography. To shooting, you were a big influence because I was shooting, but he was shooting a lot, and I saw how he was doing photo shoots. I mean, we shoot at American Apparel, 7 days a week, 365. A lot of that comes from an inspiration. What Rick used to do his own shoots. That was true. He was a CEO who did his own photography. We do, I too directed. I don't always do the photography at this point, but I art directed. You too. You say you don't shoot as much.
No.
It's more important to art direct. So to have, the recession kind of brought us together too, because everybody's suffering. So it's probably easier to suffer together a little bit. I was watching Rick, and it was difficult to see such a great line. I know how hard it is to get financial backing. I'm struggling getting financial backing. I have a $500 million company. You can imagine Rick trying to raise a little bit of money running a small multi-million-dollar company. And to see him struggling with such small stuff, it wasn't worth it. Such a great talent. He's got to be in here. He's got to be using the sewing machines. And plus, his knowledge of production, and also along with some of the staff members that he brought, is above and beyond in certain areas. And I'm learning from them. So it's an atelier of creativity. And we hope to take, I'll have no influence. And no one within the American Apparel operation will have any influence upon war. This is his own baby, and we really wanted to get out in the ring and make it into something, but maintain it. The only thing, I don't have to ask Rick, but if I would ask him, but I don't have to ask him because he's more obsessed with this concept than anyone else I know, but is to maintain the design integrity. But he's Mr. Design Integrity. I mean, he won't sell out for anybody. The idea that he's sold out to American Apparel is preposterous. Because this is one man, he'll sleep on the street before he sells out. If it's between a 10,000 piece order, but it's garbage, and just shipping 19 pieces, he's picking the 19 pieces. This is the way he is. Can't help himself.
Okay, so next question, it's a two-part question. To what extent is this partnership going to affect WAR's current retail business? And what can people expect to see in the next 6 months out there at retail?
Well, it won't affect the current distribution. It'll just help us expand the distribution. I'm very, very, very protective of the distribution we have now, and that's how what I mentioned earlier is coming up with creative ways to expand. Perhaps that includes another part of the line, and perhaps brick and mortar stores. Would you say?
I think we could do, I know how to open stores. It hasn't been as fun opening them during the recession as it was pre-recession, but I'm very knowledgeable of that. We have unbelievable POS systems at American Apparel, RFID. We could open stores for WAR. We can also expand the breadth of the line to service the great retailers that we already service. And we could take on a few retailers in places maybe Rick hadn't considered before, like we could sell a high-end retailer in China, if it's the right retailer, the right caliber, and we are able to export our goods to China. What the Japanese clients and the European clients or potential clients can expect is expert logistics, lower costs of importation because we'll import it for them and sell them in their own currency. And we hope over time to provide a more professional distribution and a more more fluid production supply to the retailer. But we don't want to take away from the retailers we have. We take them very seriously. We want to cultivate the relationships with them first before doing anything else.
And the next 6 months, creatively, it's just quite a bit more marketing. And as far as what that marketing is, I'll leave it to be a surprise.